I'm April.
And I'm Laura, and we're the hosts of Rein in Your Herd. Welcome to our first episode.
In this episode, we're going to be talking about who we are, what we do, and why we started this podcast. So I was going to start off and just kind of introduce myself. I'm April Hardiman. I've been a horse lover for pretty much all of my life. My mom started riding when I was about 5 years old, and she got her first horse, and I've just been kind of into it since then. I guess since I got my first horse when I was in 8th grade, and I kind of got into this industry being a virtual assistant or kind of like an online business manager with Mary Phelps. I was working for her company called Horses Daily, and she also had Dressage Daily, and I was kind of like her assistant. And I started all her social media accounts for her pages and her Pinterest and Facebook and so on. And then I thought, I need to go get a big girl job. And I went to work for the corporate world for a while. And I was like, no, I don't enjoy this anymore. And kind of got back into doing what I love, helping equine businesses. I'm also a wife of an active duty soldier who is currently deployed. And we live in Germany, although I am home in Georgia right now. And I have a 9-month-old daughter named Rosalind.
And she's going to be a horsewoman extraordinaire.
I hope so. I sure do hope so.
That's fantastic. So I am Laura, and compared to April, I am relatively new to the horse world. I think it was 2016, but maybe it was 2015. I get a little lost, but I was in grad school, and I was really struggling. I never tried so hard and failed so much in my life. And I was getting coffee with a friend, and she was just like, you know what? You need a distraction. You're working too hard. Go get your boots and go get a pair of boots and meet me back here. We're going to go see some horses. And so I'm like, okay, cool. I like horses. That'll be fun. And she takes me out to this horse rescue called Orphan Acres. It's one of the oldest horse rescues in the country. It's in northern Idaho. And I thought I was going to be shoveling poop and tossing hay. But all of a sudden, I started going out kind of every day after class to wind down after my day, and the owner of the rescue was like, if you're going to be hanging around this much, you need to start learning how to work with horses. And so there was this little Arab named Double Trouble who had been a sheriff confiscation because he kept getting out of his owner's yard and breeding the neighbor's mares. And the neighbors were quite done with that behavior, so he got taken away and brought to the rescue. And so he was gelded at 5 years old. He'd only been gelded for about 3 or 4 months by the time I started working with him. And my whole goal with him was, I am going to teach you how to walk politely on a lead rope so that when potential adopters come, they're just not, potential adopters come, they're just horrified by their ground manners and they don't even get to know the horse because the horse is like, I'm scared and I'm going to stand on top of you. Like, please don't. So that was my whole goal with DT was get him to walk politely, get him adopted. And we got pretty good at that walking politely thing. So then we started going in the round pen. We got pretty good at lunging. We got pretty good at doing everything on the ground. So then all of a sudden it was, I think you need to put a saddle on that horse. I'm like, I've never put a saddle on a horse before, so maybe that's not a good idea. But then all of a sudden it's, no, I think you need to put a saddle on that horse. And my friend who had originally brought me out was doing the same thing alongside this really cute little paint that she was working with. And before we know it, we were riding the hills on these horses that we started when we had no idea what we're doing. And so a couple of years go by, and my husband gets a job in Sacramento, California, and we're moving, and I'm like, I'm not moving without DT. And so we adopted him, and we loaded him up, and we had 3 really awesome years with him in Sacramento. In October, we were out trail riding by Yosemite, and we lost him to colic, and that boy went out with his boots on like nothing I'd ever seen. He was definitely colicking when we were out on the trail, but he refused to let me know. He galloped and flew with his hair in the wind. I was holding him back with everything I had. He loved to run on the trail more than anything. So if I was going to lose him, I'm really glad that he got to go out with so much heart as he did. And just 3 weeks ago, we went and got an old herd mate of his, and her name is Molly Jane. And currently my husband and I are fighting over who she's going to be. He thinks she's going to be hers, but I'm not quite convinced that it's going to end up that way.
That's funny. Yeah, I have the same kind of thing with my husband. I have my paint horse, and I've had him since he was, oh goodness, 3 years old. I was there when he was born, but he officially became mine when he was three, and I've done all the training and everything on him. And but now I really enjoy working with the babies, so I'm like, okay, so when we come back home, I want to get another baby horse, and then King can kind of be his. So he's pretty excited about that.
Oh, that'll be perfect though, because you know you can trust King, and yeah,
Yeah,
be great.
yeah. My mom's actually riding him now, and it's been a great horse for her because she had a really nasty fall a few years ago and lost a lot of confidence on horses. And even though he was pretty young when I left him with her, he was about 4 or 5, and so she was nervous about his age, but he's been probably one of the best horses for her to gain her confidence back. She's even cantering him around now, so she's been loving that.
Oh, yay! That's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah, it makes me a happy mom. Um,
Ah.
so just to talk a little more about what we do. So I'm April, as we've talked about before, and I own Make It Rain. I did have a recent name change. I was Dream Virtual Assistant because when I first started my business, I thought, oh, I'm not going to have enough equine or equestrian businesses to kind of support what I'm doing. But it was actually quite the opposite, and all my clients are horse lovers. So I changed it to Make It Rain, in which I think is just an awesome name because I love the song Make It Rain. Just everything it stands for. So just a little bit of what I do. I kind of do a little bit of everything when it comes to computers. I do content creation, social media management, email marketing. I really have been focusing on membership websites recently. I have a couple clients that use like Access Ally, and they're really trying to grow their community that way. I've also been really big on YouTube and editing videos for a lot of my clients as well. So that's just a gist of what I do. There's just so much that I do that I can't even think about the things I do on a daily basis. So I really enjoy doing SEO, so search engine optimization and understanding how you can get your website to be ranking well on Google. So just a little bit about my stuff.
That's fantastic. Did I miss your YouTube challenge?
Oh no, because of all the craziness going on at home, it was such a hard transition. I didn't get to get it out there, unfortunately.
Oh, good. No, that's not unfortunate at all. That means I didn't miss it. And we can promote it here. That's great. Coming
Yes,
soon, April's YouTube challenge. It's
yes,
gonna be great.
exactly.
We're all gonna get on YouTube. So, I am Laura and I own Unbridled Content Marketing. Unbridled Content Marketing is pretty new. I started my business in October when I was in a corporate career. I was a content writer for a financial company in Sacramento, and they cut my team in half, and I was all of a sudden expected to do the work of 4 people, and they wouldn't give me a raise, and I was just really doing well with their blog, and so I started helping a friend who's was a trail riding buddy. She owns an orthopedic massage clinic, but she has Arab horses. DT was in love with her horse, and we always laughed at him. But she needed somebody to help write her blog for her website, and so I started helping her out, and then she started passing my name around, and the next thing I knew, I kind of had a little pool of clients, and they're not all horse businesses, but 99% of them have someone in there who is a horse person, so that's been really fun. And so all of a sudden, I built myself a good little client pool, and I left my job in March, and I'm doing Unbridled Content Marketing full time now. So I help horse businesses find their voice and use that voice to build an audience on social media, to make it cohesive between their website and their blog and their emails and their social media sites. So everything tells a story and everything kind of draws in that ideal client that's going to love you. So I totally understand that people don't have time to write their posts one at a time. If you sit down and you try to write a post every day on Instagram while you're waiting for the water buckets to fill up in the barn, you're not going to be able to do that consistently because the
Right.
next thing you know, a horse is going to get out and you're going to be chasing that horse while the water's filling up instead of focusing on it.
I love that example. It's so real. It's true.
Yeah, it's 100% going to happen if it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
So I help you put together a plan so that your content's pre-scheduled. It's already going to come out so you can engage with that content while that water is filling up if nothing else is going on, and you don't have to worry about it at all if something is going on.
Yes, the really good strategy. Well, that is interesting. That I didn't know that that's what you were doing before you started doing unbridled content marketing. And then I completely have experience where they have cut other people and then now all their jobs are on you. And that's what I was doing in the corporate world in Washington when I was doing payroll. They kept letting a lot of people go, or people would leave, but they wouldn't replace them. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is miserable. And with being a military spouse, it's just easier to have an online or remote job because especially when we're moving all over the place, like me living in Germany right now, like, it's really hard to get a position over there. Like I was doing, a building monitor. I don't even know what, I was just sitting there making sure nobody stole anything out of the education center. I'm like, I don't know how productive this is. And then, they have this tax over in Europe called the VAT tax, and, a military get this tax off, so we have all these VAT forms. So I started working in the VAT office, and so it was pretty much just a lot of admin work. So nothing really, exciting or really going along with what I went to school for or anything to do with horses. So I was like, okay, I need to do my own little thing, and that's kind of how I decided to get back into what I was doing before.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I always said I would not work in a cubicle, and then 6 months out of college, and there I was in my cubicle. I was like, how did this happen?
Yeah, that's almost exactly how it was for me too. Because I was like, I'm going to go get my accounting degree. I'm going to be a bookkeeper. I'm going to do bookkeeping for equine businesses. And then I don't know why I thought, oh, I need to go get my big girl job or something. Like that was a requirement or something with graduating college, which, I mean, it was all right for a little bit, but definitely I hated being when it was those nice sunny days and you're like, I could be outside riding right now instead of sitting in
Yeah.
here. So.
Yeah, yesterday I was parked in at the barn because there was a hay delivery. I had to stay an extra hour and a half, and I was like, this is fantastic, I'll work an hour and a half later. That's fine. I'm gonna hang out with MJ. She was being perfect and snuggly. I was like, yes, this is why I did this.
Yeah, absolutely. So why did we start this podcast? We started this podcast because we want to help the equine community better understand the online business world. We know it can be very overwhelming, especially with social media consistently changing, or sometimes you'll see like Facebook or Instagram completely just like stop working one day. So it's like, do you have your email marketing list going? And just all these little things that, it's like, what's the most important thing and what should I really be focusing on? What is the actual goal of having all these social media accounts, or should I be on every platform? And there's just so many questions, and we want to help you kind of understand a little bit of all of it and have a better grasp of it, because knowledge is power. So, and we want to give you that knowledge.
Absolutely. And we also want to let you guys know that you don't have to love technology to show up online and to build an audience and to do all the things that you see all the gurus doing online every day. I am a technology stick in the mud. I yell for help on the daily, and I get it done. So you guys can do it too. We're going to bring you some technology tips, but we're going to try to keep it pretty simple because I have a client who's done it all from her phone. So is it easy?
Wow.
No, but it is possible. So you don't have to love technology. You don't have to be super good at technology, and you can still get it done.
That's impressive for all on the phone.
She
built
a Wix website from her phone. I'm like, you what?
Wow.
Yeah.
I can do a lot of things from my phone, but sometimes I just love the bigger screen. I can't.
I'm all about the computer. 2 monitors, big keyboard.
Yeah, no, I don't have my monitors while I'm home in Georgia. So I'm like, okay, I had this one little laptop, one little screen, and when I was home, I have like two. At one point in corporate world, I had three monitors. Like I don't even know how I lived on that. And I even had those stand-up desks. So I had my laptops or my monitors on that stand-up desk, and I always had to be careful every time I would pick it up to stand up. Oh God, I'm gonna lose these monitors.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love my monitors, but you can go to the thrift store near you and get one for like $10 while you're home. I did that
Yeah. Oh
in Costco when
yeah.
I used
I
to
didn't
go
think
before.
about doing that.
Yeah.
But then I have to get like a special adapter and everything too, since I have a Mac.
Oh yeah, you have to get
Yeah.
yeah.
All the fun things with Mac life, all the adapters.
Yeah, I'm slowly transitioning out of Mac life. I still have the computer, but I wasn't going to spend $1,000 on a phone because I break them all the time. No, this is an
Yeah,
accident.
I had to get the really nice case for it, otherwise I
Yeah.
will break it too. This one's lasted. I had one time be stepped on by my horse. My horse did step on my phone and I picked it up and somehow I lasted. So I was like, whew.
Yes, I have definitely spent a few evenings walking the pasture. Like, I knew it flew out of my pocket right around here.
Yeah. I've not done that with the phone, but my husband has done that with his ring. And I can't
Oh
be
no.
mad at him because I was asking him to help me with some hay. It was like a big hay bale, and we were at this one barn in Washington where he had this huge stall. Like it was bigger. I don't know if it should have been called a stall. It was like almost like a pasture for him. And we were putting a net over the hay little thing, and my husband, I guess, lost his ring somehow. And it was literally a needle and haystack, and I was like, "We're not gonna find it, and hopefully King doesn't swallow it."
Oh my gosh.
So thankfully it wasn't an expensive ring, but it still sucked. So I had to get him another one.
Yeah, it was definitely, there was no finding it. It was a goner.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It was way gone.
Oh
Luckily,
man.
he's kept the one he has now so far. I mean, it's all scratched up from because he works on trucks, but that's all right.
I've never thought about losing my ring in hay, but that could definitely happen. My ring's pretty stuck on. Sometimes I worry about that. I think if my finger took an impact, I'd definitely have to get it cut off.
Yeah. Oh yeah. At least recently, my ring has been like eating at my finger. But when I first got it, I had like little prongs on it, and every time I go to the barn, I feel like I would lose a diamond or something. So I had to go um, to the jewelry store and actually trade in the type of ring I had to get a different ring because I kept losing too many stones.
Oh man, yeah, I was very much like, I don't want anything sticking out. I want,
Yeah.
my husband and I grew up in Alaska, so ours, they're white gold with yellow gold bears on them. That's our diamond.
Hey, whatever works. Yeah, I thought I had picked a ring that was gonna be durable, but I guess not. But now this one is for sure.
That's good.
All
Gotta
right,
have
I
that
guess
in the
we.
horse world.
Yeah, yeah. So what do we plan to deliver with this podcast? So we want to show you how to grow your awareness and how to grow like your community. Well, we're going to be calling it your herd because we're horse people. Um, if to do anything with your business, you want to grow that herd, to either sell your products, sell your services. Just that's one of my favorite things about the horse world is the community and the people. That's why I just love being around my horses too, is not just the horses, but everybody around it. So we want to just show you how you can grow that awareness around you.
Yes, that is so important and it is possible. And so if you're sitting there thinking, oh, I've been trying to do this for years and it's not working, hopefully you show up and you keep listening because we're going to show you how it is possible and it does work and you don't need huge numbers to get it done either.
Absolutely.
But before we go on this first episode, we want to leave you with one tip for your social media to get this thing started. So it's so important to be yourself. Don't see someone else's personality that's being really successful and try to copy them because you're not going to do as good of a job faking it as they are doing it real and people can tell and it's not authentic and it's not going to feel good to you and it's not going to feel good to anybody else. So you want to show up as 100% you. And if you're quirky and you're weird, show up as that quirky, weird person.
Instagram, they just have this huge following all of a sudden, and you're like, okay, how did that happen? And they've paid for their followers, but then it's not authentic, and you can't connect with them, and that's what you really want to do, is connect with them and know that they're going through the same struggles that you are.
Yeah, but no, I mean, don't look at the number of followers one, don't compare yourself because it doesn't do you any good, but two, don't look at the number of followers because you can hire companies to do fake engagement and grow your following really fast, but then when you look at the posts, there's no meaningful conversations going on in those posts, and that means those people aren't getting clients, they're not making friends, they're not creating a real community with those posts. So be careful in your comparison games.
Absolutely. So this was our first episode, and we just kind of wanted to introduce ourselves, what the podcast is all about, and what we plan on delivering to you. And if you have any questions or have any topic ideas that you would love us to cover, make sure you let us know. We are on Instagram, on Facebook, and you can hit us up in the messages or the DMs, or we also have an email. What is it? Is it hello@makeitrain.com? hello@makeitrain.com. I promise we do check it out. It doesn't get forwarded to our email, so we do have it. Yeah, thanks for listening, and make sure to tune into the next episode. We are excited to bring you tons of fun information.
Go out there and ride your horses, because that's why we're all here.
Yep, that's what I'm doing after this show.